Hello. In this video I'm going to show you a little bit about fractions, decimals and percentages and how they're linked together before we start to use them properly. So fractions, decimals and percentages are all different ways of writing the same number. So I'm going to put an equals in there. So fractions equal decimals, which equal percentages. They're all different ways of writing the same thing. So if we were to write a half up there as a fraction, which is 1/2. Some of you may know that this as a decimal is 0.5. So 0.5 is a half of something. And as a percentage, that's also written as 50%. So a half is the same as 0.5, which is the same as 50%. All different ways of writing the same thing. Now a lot of people may know this example just here, but may not necessarily know how they've got there. So I'm going to show you how you actually convert between a fraction, a decimal and a percentage. So 1/2. Now a lot of people as well don't seem to make the link, or have never been shown the link between a fraction and this symbol just here, divide. Now if I write this divide just here, you can see a similarity between this and this symbol. Now that's not a coincidence. That's because 1/2 is another way of writing 1 divided by 2. Okay, so a fraction by definition is a division that's not been done yet. It's an incomplete division. So if we actually complete this division, 1 divided by 2, if we use the Bush-Shelter method to work that out, which you'll be able to see in one of the earlier videos on division, what we're actually asking ourselves here is how many 2's go into 1. So 2 into 1 doesn't go, but we've got 1 left over, so we're going to put a decimal in. I'm going to put some zeros in so we've got somewhere to carry 2. So 2's into 1 don't go, but there's 1 left over, so you carry your 1. 2's into 10 go 5, exactly, with none left over, so that's your answer just there. So the decimal answer to 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, and that's exactly what you do to get from here to here. Any fraction converted to a decimal is simply the top number divided by the bottom number. So you do the division. Simple as that. Now some numbers may be easier to divide than others. Some larger numbers, if you're doing a functional skills test, may be difficult to divide on paper, but then if you're doing a functional skills test, you will have a calculator. So all you do is you pop your top number in your calculator, divide by, and then type in the bottom number, and that will always give you your decimal answer. So now we've defined how to actually get from here to here for every example of a fraction. To get from here to here, all we're actually doing is we're making this decimal 100 times bigger. So all we're going to do to get from a decimal to a percentage is we're going to times it by 100. And if I just do that as a little calculation down at the bottom here, so let me make some space for it. If I do 0.5 multiplied by 100, we're going to put 2 zeros down for those two just there. 1 times 5 is 5, and that's it. With 1 decimal place to go in our answer, we get the answer of 50, and that's 50%. That is how we get from a fraction to a decimal to a percentage. So I'm just going to give you another example of how to convert with another number so you can see that. if I just fraction, I'm just going to shorten this to fraction, which is equal to a decimal, which equals percentage. Let's say we had a fraction of a quarter. So as a decimal, it's going to be 1 divided by 4. Writing that out just here, like this, is how many 4's go into 1? Well, they don't. So we're going to carry the 1. How many 4's in 10? 2. And that makes 8. So we've got 2 left over, so we're going to carry that to the next 0. How many 4's in 20? That's 5, with none left over. So the decimal answer of a quarter, 1 over 4, is 0.25. And if we remember, to get from a decimal to a percentage, you simply times 0.25 by 100. Because a percentage is just 100 times bigger than the decimal. So what we're going to do, pop 2 zeros down for those, and then we're going to do 1 times 5, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 decimal places in our answer just there. So that as a decimal compared to a percentage is 25%. And it's as simple as that. Just to recap, to get from here to here, you do the division, top divided by the bottom of the fraction, and to get from here to here, you just simply multiply by 100. And that's the link between fraction, decimal and percentage.